Hello and welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. This is part 5 of my comparison of infinite painter brushes to traditional art tools. And in this video we're going to focus on the Harmony, the created, and the downloaded brushes. And I'm going to show you how to make them part of your traditional art look. I'm using Infinite Painter for Android. And iOS won't have the downloaded brushes yet because the community hasn't been created yet. So I want to start out first with the sketchy and the shaded brushes. And these are really good for mimicking a pencil look. And you can also make it look like it's sort of shaded, and you can make plant leaf looks with it and all kinds of different things just using the shaded brush. And then the fur brushes, they're good for using for hair, animal hair. You can also use them to make feathers. They make really nice fluffy looking feathers, and there's two of those. There's a long fur and a short fur brush. And these will also react to your texture as well, so you can sort of play around with that and see what kind of textures that you can get with these brushes. And as you can see here, the short fur brushes kind of make a really nice plumy, feathery look, and you can adjust that by running the size up or down and making the feathers thicker or thinner, and you can kind of use it for grass as well. And then I like to use the ribbon brush for human hair because it makes really nice curls on the end of the brush here. And it just gives it kind of a nice curly look. And the curvy brush as well works pretty good for human hair. So I really like to use them. And as you can see right here, I'm trying to make kind of a little bit of a braid. And it does give it sort of a braided texture here. And then here's the curvy brush, and you can use it for hair, but it also makes a really nice brush for smoke or a fog look, kind of a vapor look here. And you can even make it look kind of like a flame if you wanted to make a candle flame or something like that. It works pretty well for that. And then the grid brush, it's kind of an odd brush actually, but you can make it look like dandelions if you want to, or just grass. You can kind of make it look like tangled grass. You would have to use it in conjunction with other brushes just to kind of hide that square look. And then we have the circles brush, and you can use it for kind of like bubbles or rocks. Now it makes kind of a uniform pattern, so you would sort of have to hide that uniform look, but it makes kind of a neat look there, and you could probably use it for bubbles or something. And then the last one, which is the squares, you can use it for, say, like a worm underbelly or a snake underbelly or ribbons even. It gives kind of a neat looking little texture. You can just kind of use it if you want to make sort of a built up texture even. And you just kind of play around with the shape on it because you can adjust it any way you want to also, and just see what you can do with it. And then here I wanted to show you how you can actually do hair with the ribbon brush and the curvy brush, and just kind of what you can do with these brushes. And so I'm kind of using the sketchy brush here just to make the initial sketch, and I'm not going to do a real big painting here. I just kind of want to give you an idea of what you can do with the hair. And as you can see, you make a initial sketch with the sketch brush, and it really does kind of look like a pencil. It gives you kind of a really loose pencil effect here. And you can start the hair with that, and then you can go to the ribbon brush, and as you see, you can make really nice curves with these brushes. It gives kind of a nice curly-haired look. And you just can build this up over time. You have to kind of just go over it again. And it would probably work best when you use this in conjunction with some of the other categories, like the paint category. If you want a more sketchy look, you can go back to the pencils and just kind of add it to this drawing, and that would probably give it a little bit more of a pencil look. But as it is right here, it actually does give it a very nice sketchy look. And if you just want to stick to the harmony brushes, you can keep adding more and more layers to the hair, change the color there. And I really just like the way it tapers on the end and gives it that really curly look there. And you just keep going back and forth between these brushes, and you can use some of the fur brushes if you want to kind of fill it in. It's better suited for animal hair though than it is human hair, but you can use that to sort of fill in the gaps there, and then go back to your ribbon brush or your curvy brush and just keep on adding different layers to this painting. And then you can, I worked on the hat just a little bit more, and I wanted to see what you could do with the shade brush there. And you can actually kind of get an ink effect with that. If you make it dark enough, it sort of fills it in a little bit, and then you can sort of leave it kind of jagged, and that gives you sort of an ink brush effect, which is kind of neat. And then you can go back to the ribbon brush again, work on the hair some more, add more layers, and you really can get a realistic hair look with the ribbon brush and the curvy brush just by going back and forth between them and adding more and more layers and different colors to the hair. And it even kind of gives it sort of an inky look maybe, or even kind of a colored pencil. And you can probably change the textures here, and that would probably give it even more of a colored pencil look if you go ahead and add texture to this brush. And then here I was just trying to fill it in a little bit with the shading, but it was getting too dark, so I decided to sort of just switch back to the ribbon brushes. And then here you can use the shade brush to kind of mimic a cloth texture on the clothes here. Just, it kind of gives it an ink-like look here too. And anyway, I didn't want to make this a big finished piece, but I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what you can do with these brushes, because although they're odd looking and you think, well, you can't really do much with these, they really can be used for all kinds of different things. Here I'm doing a little bit of some grass, and you can use the fur brushes to make the tangled look of grass at the bottom on a clump there, and you can use the grid brush to kind of give it more texture and look like seed pods. And then you can use the fur brushes to actually mimic feathers even. And as you can see, it does mimic fur as well. And you can use it for cats and dogs and things like that. And then the curvy brush, again, you can use it for sort of vapor-like look, or a smoke plume, or actually even probably seaweed on the bottom of the ocean, because it has that kind of wavy-like look. And so you really can use these harmony brushes for all kinds of different things. And of course you can turn the watercolor effect on with these and make them look even more transparent and translucent. And so they're really quite handy, and I actually use them quite a bit. And then here I'm just kind of playing around with the circle brush again, and you can make it look like distant flowers. And then this is an example of one of my paintings with a cocoa pelly in it, and I made it look like it's sort of a ghost, a vapory look there, and I used the curvy brush for that. And then here you can create your own brushes. So you can go ahead and import a texture or a picture that you've got from your own gallery, and then go ahead and save it as a paintbrush or just whatever you want, whatever category you want, but you're going to change the name in a minute anyway. And so here's what you can do. You can go in there and I changed the name to just paint texture here. And this is what it looks like when you haven't made any adjustments. So if you want to get rid of the square look, then you can play around with the flow and make it look thicker, and you can change the rotation so that you don't get that square look so much. And then you can play around with different textures on it and play around with the jitter, make it look, more scattered looking or more spray-like or more of a thicker paint. You just have to kind of play around with it, and you can change the dilution and the blend so that makes it more transparent, or that it blends in better. And as you can see, it gives us kind of we've got sort of a spray brush looking one going here right now. And you can go back if you don't like that and play around with some more of the textures, see what you get there. We put more of a canvas-like texture here, and so that gives you kind of a rougher look. And you can play around with the rotation again, just see what you can get there. Play around with the structure of it. There's really no limit. You can make tons of different brushes here just by importing different textures and different pictures. And then you can save them and you can upload it to the community. And then here in the community there's tons of brushes that people have made. And this is only available on Android right now, but the developer, Sean Brakefield, has plans to make it available for the iOS community too. So here I downloaded a brush, just trying it out, playing around with it, and you can download tons of different brushes if you want to. So this is the end of my comparison of infinite painter brushes and traditional art tools. And everybody stay tuned for a brand new series. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions or any suggestions about what you would like to see next, just leave them in the comments down below, and I will catch you later.